When COVID-19 is spreading across the world, online education is very timely and convenient for students who are unable to attend physical classes. As in many countries, in the fight against COVID-19, all schools have closed their doors and learning is being done online. The online education and assessment without proper instruction are the issues that students are facing in this new learning environment.
Power leader KML faced the same problem as described above. Another thing that has worsened the situation is that power followers have found out that they have less motivation to study at their own pace with no other to guide them physically. It is difficult for them to pay attention to what is taught in the classroom or even during the power session is carried out. The objective of this video is to improve power followers' understanding of topics in different chapters, to promote learning resources and learning methods for power followers as well as students from other matriculation, to increase motivation among students in matriculation to learn chemistry. Other challenge that is faced by power leader is that power followers declare that it is difficult for them to pay attention. Power followers claims that there are lots of distraction when they are having a PAL session, and it may be difficult for some students to focus when attending a PAL session if PAL leaders just simply share the learning materials to them without any proper instruction. Or maybe the PAL leaders just read out the notes without explaining it. So in order to solve this problem, PAL leaders from chemistry will prepare attractive notes for the PAL followers to study. Studies have shown that the colorful notes are a good stimulus to the visual learner. Using bright colors helps to capture attention and go through points that are priority. Color-coded notes there are also useful for revising and reviewing key information. For example, this is one of the notes that PAL leaders prepared for their PAL followers. The fourth challenge that faced by PAL leaders is difficult to explain the theories that have to be demonstrated. For example, power leaders who have difficulty explaining the molecular shape of molecules, which is one of the chapter from SK015. Power followers will find it hard to understand if power leader just simply explain the steps with no help of image or animation. So to overcome this situation, power leader use 3D animation to give power followers a deep understanding of the concept. For example, there is a website called PET Interactive Stimulation that you can play with the real molecule. Or you may want to choose to play with the model to monitor the changes to the molecules when you add lone pairs or bonds. We had done some research to make sure this method is truly useful for power followers. We conducted a research from a group of 5 students in a different module. First, we let power followers answer a few questions that we have prepared using Google Form, and the result has shown that the points that each power followers get is relatively low. As shown here, the average score is just 2.8 points. And after explaining the concepts with the use of 3D animation, the result comes out surprisingly. The average points for each power followers are 7.8 points, and this actually proves that there is an improvement of power followers' understanding in this topic.
Poor internet connections is one of the major problems to many online-based teaching. Same goes with power leaders KML. Another downside of learning is the sense of isolation. Power followers can learn a lot from being in the company of power leaders and other peers. However, in the online classes, there are minimal physical interactions between power leaders and power followers. This often results in a sense of isolation. And after I study for the subtopic of the mechanism, I will always practice myself to write out the equation to make myself more remembers instead of just blindly memorizing. So I would tell my power followers during the PAL session, I think the best way to teach to help them to acquire the mechanism of organic chemistry is I will deeply explain how the reactions mechanism work.
Here's the feedback from the Google form about the problems in studying organic chemistry. From the research, we found their problem is they do not know why and how the product be and how is the process going on. So it helps them hard to remember the process. Here's go my explanations with my suggestions. Chapter 9, subtopic 9.3, preparations of carbonyl compounds, ozonolysis of alkenes. In this ozonolysis of alkenes, they will found the problem like why the alkenes undergoes the ozonolysis becomes ketones and aldehyde. Why? They found the problem like this, and they do not know why using the reducing agents. Why using the dimethyl sulfide, zinc, and acetic mediums? So they will question like this. So as power leaders, we have the responsibility to explain about the whole process of ozonolysis to them to help them to understand and remember.
Due to the outbreak of COVID-19, education has changed dramatically, with the distinctive rise of e-learning whereby teaching is completely undertaken and on the digital form. However, despite with these obstacles, power leaders, peer-assisted learning leaders, LABUAN Matriculation College will work painstakingly to help our power followers get more interest in studying. I know organic chemistry is very hard to explain for power leaders, hard to explain, and for power followers, hard to understand. But from our teaching methods suggested by Hotrelli and me, I think this is the best way to conduct the power session and help our power followers to remember more in organic chemistry.